Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be doing the Bandit war game on OverTheWire.org, starting from level 15. So let's just continue from there. Just like before, we're going to log in using the password we got from the last level for level 15. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to say SSH bandit15 at bandit.labs overthewire.org on port 22220. And hopefully my Linux machine doesn't have the copying shit from the last video. So I'm just gonna paste that, hit enter. Yeah, it's having the issue, so let's hope. Yep. So for whatever reason, let's just paste it here. Okay, so it works now. Let's try again. For those of you who know how to fix this, please let me know in the comments section. I'm gonna say paste clip. Alright, so now it works. Let's just make this terminal screen a bit bigger. And I'm gonna zoom in. And we're gonna continue. So we're in Bandit 15. And for Bandit 15, it says the password for the next level can be retrieved by submitting the password of the current level to port 30,001 on localhost using SSL encryption. Okay, so for this one, we basically have to submit the password of the current level to port 30,001 on localhost using SSL encryption. So if you remember in Bandit level 14, we did the same thing except we didn't use SSL encryption. We did we used NC, which is a Swiss Army knife. Then we specified the local host, and then we said like 30,000 something, right? And then we connected to the program running on that port on this server, and then we pasted the password, and then the password was sent back to us because that's what the program listening on that port is doing, right? So in this one, we have to do it using SSL encryption. So I don't think the normal NC program has the ability to submit things using SSL. Let's just look at the man page, man NC, and let's, instead of reading the whole thing, let's grep for SSL. Yeah, so see, it doesn't have it, but there's this other command called netcat. If you want to look at the man page, I'm going to show netcat. So this is, I think this is the older version of NC, but this one actually has an SSL option. So I can show you that by saying man ncat, pipe that into grep SSL, right? And as you can see, there's the SSL option. So this version of NC, the older version called ncat, this one allows us to submit things using SSL. So as you can see, we have to do --SSL. So let's do that. So we're going to say NC --SSL. Then we have to specify localhost, and the port was 30,001, I think. Right? No, what was it? Let me just check again. 30,001, but it says oh, I used NC. My bad. I used NC, so I'm just gonna make this full screen again. So it's supposed to be ncat SSL localhost 30,000. So now it worked. I'm gonna paste the password here. The password wasn't pasted for whatever reason. Man, Linux is annoying with the paste. So I'm just gonna say paste clipboard because that seems to work. I'll press enter on that, and there we go. So we got the password back for level 16 for Bandit 16, right? So we're gonna copy that. We're gonna exit. Okay, let's clear this. Exit. And we're gonna connect as Bandit 16. And we're gonna paste the password. Again, we're gonna say paste clipboard. Right, so that one works. So now that we have Bandit 16, let's look at what we should do here. So let's open that up. Bandit 16. It says the credentials for the next level can be retrieved by submitting the password of the current level to a port on localhost in the range 31,000 to 32,000. First, find out which of these ports have a server listening to them. then find out which of those speak SSL and which don't. This is only one server that will give the credentials. The others will simply send back to you whatever you send to it. So the rest will just echo that stuff back to us. Alright, so here's an introduction to Nmap. If you don't know what Nmap is it's a program that's very useful for all IT professionals and for ethical hackers. So what Nmap does is that it scans a machine and lets us know which of those are open, which of those are active, which of those have, which ports on those machines have services running on them, and there's many things you can do with this program. So that's basically what Nmap is. And this challenge is asking us to submit the password of the current level to a port on localhost in the range 31,000 to 32,000. So one of these ports speaks SSL, and the rest don't. And the other ones are just going to echo back whatever we paste to it, while the one that speaks SSL is going to pass the password back to us. So let's just do that for a second. In order to do that, I'm going to say nmap, and we want to know the version of each port. I don't think this is important, but I'm going to do it anyway. So in order to do that, if you want to see the version of the service running on each of the active ports, you have to say -sv. Okay, so -sv, and then we're going to specify again the machine we're trying to scan is a local machine, right? So local host, and the ports we're trying to scan. You know what? We don't need to know the exact version. It's not that important. So we're gonna say nmap localhost, and the port we're trying to scan goes from 31,000 to 32,000. So we're gonna hit enter on that, and okay, so it doesn't really tell us the service. So maybe we do need to add the -sv option and redo that. And yeah, so as you can see, it determined that all of these ports are open, but it didn't tell us it's saying the service is unknown, right? So that's why we added the -sv option. So hopefully this time we get some meaningful data back to us. All right, so it's done. So as you can see, the ports that are open between 31,000 to 32,000 are these ones over here, and this tells us the service that's running. So the first one, 31,046, has the echo service. So if you don't know what echo is, it basically just sends back whatever we send to it. So that's basically useless. This one speaks SSL or echo, so it could be either one of them. This one speaks echo, which means it just sends the data back, and this one speaks SSL and an unknown port, right? So we're gonna focus on this one, 31,790, and 31,518. So we're gonna focus on those two. So in order to do that, and then we have to basically send data to that port using SSL. So we're gonna do what we did before. We're gonna say ncat --SSL localhost, and localhost, and then we have to specify the port, right? So the port was the first one we're trying is 31518, because the rest don't have echo, right? So only this one and this one. So 31518, and if we paste the password, it just echoes it back. So this one was saying that this port has either SSL running on it or echo, and we just determined that it's echo because we just got the same thing back, right? So let's try the other one. The other one was 31,790. We're gonna paste the password, and this one, okay, so this one sends us back the private key. Okay, it doesn't. We got a private key this time, so let's just copy this. Let's just copy this private key, and exit, and let's create a file. Let's just save this in a file, right? And we can only do that in the temp directory, so we're going to do that right now. We're going to say vim, and we're going to call the file k.key, right? And let's just paste it in here. I'm using the vim text editor. You can use any one that you want. We're going to save that. And now that we have the key, we can use that to log into the next level. Because remember, we can log in to SSH either using usernames and passwords or private and public keys, as we did earlier on. I don't remember the level. I think it was I don't remember, but we used keys before. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna say SSH, and this time we're gonna log in using a private key. So the private key we want to use is the key files inside of the key file, right? So we're gonna say temp k.key. Okay. Then we're gonna say the user we're trying to log in as, which is Bandit17, and then we're gonna say bandit.labs.overthewire.org, and on port 2220. Yes. Okay, so we have to actually exit first. So let's just do that again outside of the machine. So now we're outside the machine. So it's basically telling me that I can't connect using SSH if I'm inside the computer. So I have to leave it and then do it outside right now. So let's just redo that again. So it's basically, oh, wait a second. We're actually outside right now. So we don't have access to the key. So yeah, so what I'm going to do here is that I still have it copied. All right, so I just cleared the page to make it easier. So I'm going to create a file, and I'm going to call it vim key.key, and we're going to paste the file like we did earlier. We're going to save it, and we're going to use it to connect. We're going to say ssh-i key.key. We're trying to log in as bandit17 at bandit.labs.overthewire.org, and the password, the port we're trying to connect to is 22220. What does it say? It says permissions for key dots are too open. Okay. Oh my god, yeah, that's true, that's true. I forgot to, let me just escape this. Yeah, so let me just, give me a minute, I'm gonna go back and log in and try this again because I forgot to change the permissions. Alright, so we're back in Bandit 16, so what I'm gonna do here is we have to basically change the permissions, I guess. So let's just go back into the temp directory. We're in ls, we can't really do that. Let's see if we still have the key files, .key. Okay, so we still have the key. Let's just change the permission. Let's use 644 key.key. Then let's try to log in now. So, ssh-key.key bandit17 at bandit. I think that's a local host because I'm inside, so local host port 2220. I got the wrong port. Okay, so it's still doing the same thing. So it's saying you are trying to log into the server with port local host. Okay. I only specify the port. Yes. Again, let me just exit the machine. This is kind of annoying. Sorry about this, guys. So let's just change the permissions here. So I'm gonna say 644 key.key, and then I'm gonna try to log in again. -i key.key. Okay, so it has to do with the permissions. I feel like the permissions I'm giving are not correct. So I did 644. Okay. All right. So what I'm thinking of right now is let me just change that to 400. Maybe that's what I have to do here. See if my 400 key.key, and then I'm gonna connect right now. So let's see if this one works. Yeah, so now this one works. So basically, the the permissions on the key file. We could have done this inside the machine, but the permissions that were on the key file were too open, as it says. It says here that the permissions are too open. So this basically, yes, it is required that your private key files are not accessible by others. So this 400 basically says that only we're allowed to look at this key, right? So it's not accessible by anyone else. So once we made that permission, it was no longer too open, and we were able to log it. So yeah, that's kind of confusing. And let's just continue. All right, so let's go to level 17 to 18. There are two files in the home directory, passwords.old, passwords.new. The password for the next level is in passwords.new, and it's the only line that has been changed between passwords.old and passwords.new. Again, here you're going to use the def command, the difference command. So if you just ls to see what's inside of Bandit 17, we have two files. We have passwords.new and we have passwords.old. And if you want to know the difference between these two files, the program called diff. If you want to look at the man page, you can look at it. But basically, if you say diff and then we pass in two files, it's going to tell us the difference between the two files, right? So, and here it's telling us there's only one line that's changed between the two, right? So if we say diff, then we pass in passwords.new, and then passwords.new, then passwords.old. Hit enter on that, and the first one's going to tell us what this file has, and the next line is going to tell us what this file has in place of that, right? So if you look at passwords.new, it has this, and passwords.old has this. The rest of the two files are the same, right? This is the only two files that are different between these two. And since we put the first file first, the passwords.new, this is the file, this is the line that's inside of password.new but not in passwords.old. So this should be the password. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to exit, and we're going to log in as we typed so much. We're going to log in as, actually before we, oh my god, we probably should have got, okay, we don't need it anyway, we don't need it. I was about to say we're going to get the password of Bandit 17. Let's not worry about that right now. So we have Bandit 18. We're going to paste the password. And oh, what happened? We were kicked out. Okay, that's kind of strange. It says Bandit 18 to Bandit 19. This is the password for next level stored in a file called readme. Unfortunately, someone has modified the .bash rc to log you out when you log in with SSH. That's kind of unfortunate. Let's try to log back into. Oh, this is that's so annoying. So we have to go back into 16 again. Thank God I saved the password for Bandit 16. So give me a minute and we're gonna log back in. Alright, so we're back into Bandit 16. So instead of escaping, I'm gonna actually SSH into Bandit 17 from inside the machine. So in order to do, I'm to SSH-I temp key. Actually, no, before I do that, I have to give it permissions. And then now I can actually log in from within the machine. So SSH-I key temp key. That's not how you do it, is it? So Bandit 17 host. No, that's not how you do it either. I straight up don't remember how we do it from inside the machine, so I'm kind of confused. Let's just cat that out for a second. So let's just cat that out. So we say cat. You see, okay, we still have it. And let's just change directories to temp. And then let's try the same command. We don't need this. No, that doesn't work. Okay, that's incredibly annoying. But I think Let's just exit again. And we have the key, I believe. So we have the key. So key.key. Yeah, we have the key. So we can try logging in from the outside again. Okay, so we're finally back into Bandit 17. Let's just get Bandit 17's password, which is etc Bandit pass Bandit 17. So now we have Bandit 17's password, so we don't have to worry about it. Let's just copy that. And yeah, so we have the Bandit 17's password. And let's just go back down now. Yeah, the difference that we got, I think we already saved that. We already wrote a lot, so let's just run the command again. It was passwords, new passwords, old. This is the password. But remember, when we try to log in as Bandit 18, we get kicked out, right? We're trying to avoid that scenario. If you have solved this level and see bye-bye when you're trying to log into Bandit 18, this is related to the next level, Bandit 19. Okay? Okay. Let's go to Bandit 18 here. It says the password for the next level is stored in a file called readme in the home directory. Unfortunately, someone has modified bash rc to log you out when you log in with SSH. Okay, so I think I have an idea. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna exit. Okay, and then I'm gonna try to log in as Bandit 18, but this time instead of just logging in right away, I'm gonna type in bin bash. So hopefully this is going to give me a shell before the actual thing kicks me out, right? So it's going to connect, then before it kicks me back out, it's going to give me a shell, hopefully. I don't know if it's going to work. Let's try it. Let's just paste it here. Okay, so something happened. Oh, there we go. See? So who am I? Okay, so we're Bandit 18. Let's just read that. Read me, cat read me. And we got the password. Ooh, that's pretty clever, wasn't it? I'm going to copy that. So if you're wondering how this happened, it was we first tried to connect using SSH, and I know that if I just connect using SSH, it's gonna try to connect me, and then bash RC is gonna run. That's on the server, and then it's gonna kick me out, right? So in order to avoid that scenario, I this first part is gonna try to connect via SSH. I'm gonna type in the password. Then once it determines that's correct, I'm saying run this, right? So this is gonna run before bash RC kicks me out. So when I ran that, it gave me a shell into Bandit 18. So we're essentially Bandit 18 right now, and I was able to get the README file. So if you have any questions regarding this, leave a comment, and I'll try to explain it more. But let's just continue with the challenge, right? So let's just exit, and let's go into Bandit 19. This time I don't want to get a shell, so I'm just gonna leave that. Let's go to Bandit 19. And let's just paste clipboard, and we're logged in as Bandit 19. What does Bandit 19 have in store for us? It says to gain access to the next level, you should use a set UID binary in the home directory. Execute it without arguments to find out how to use it. Okay, the password for this level can be found in the usual place. Again, etc bandit pass and then whatever level you're on, right? After you have used the set UID binary. Okay, so now let's start talking about what a set UID binary is. First of all, let's just look at what's inside of the Bandit 19 directory. So we're going to say ls, and we have a set UID. So let's get the information regarding this file by using the file program and typing in 20.do. Okay, so it's telling us that this file, marked in red, is a set UID, 32-bit LSB executable. So the most important part about all of this is just to remember that it's a set UID binary. in at least in Kali Linux, set UID binaries are marked as red, and what that means is that when we run this program, okay, remember this is not a text file. This is actual program. When you run this program, it's gonna run as the root or the administrator in Windows, right? So the idea is we have to try to take advantage of that and try to get it to do stuff for us. So let's just run it first and see what it does. So we say bandit 20 do, and it's saying run a command as another user. Example, bandit 20 do and an ID. Okay, so let's just type in a command. Let's say ID. Okay. Let's say cat. Let's say ls. So that didn't do anything. Let's try to cat. Let's try to, because remember when this program is running, we're actually running as bandit 20, right? So if we're running as bandit 20, let's try to sneak it by getting the password, right? So when it's running, it's gonna run this command right next to it. So hopefully, you know what? Let's just write something. Let's just write something random. So random. Okay, so as you can see, when I ran the command and passed in the random string, it said env random no such file or directory. So it's expecting a file right after the program. So it expects the program and expects us to type in a file after that. Okay, and then it runs env, which is what this is saying. It runs env on the file that we specify after this part, right? So it says run this program, then env, and then it passes in this. Okay, and if you don't know what env is, you can look at the man page. But basically, env is you can think of it as creating a new environment to run a program, right? So we can say env, then we can pass in a program that's gonna run, that's gonna be able to run, right? So we can pass in ls, we can pass in cat, we can pass in a bunch of programs, and it's gonna run. It's gonna be able to run as root. So one way we can do that is we already know that the passwords are stored in etc/bandit, bandit pass. So let's try to snag the password for bandit 20 since we know this program is running as bandit 20, right? So we're gonna say bandit 20 do, and then I'm gonna specify. I'm gonna say cat etc bandit pass bandit 20, because remember when this program is running, when env is trying to run this, it's running as bandit 20, so we should be able to read this file. Let's just try to see, enter, and there we go. So it worked. So it actually catted out the password for bandit 20. We can take that, copy it, and we can exit, and we can log in as bandit 20. So let's just do that right now. Bandit 20, paste, and we logged in as bandit 20. So I'm gonna stop here because we already did like 5 challenges right now. We're gonna continue another time, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments regarding any of these challenges, leave a comment and let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and have a good day.